let's take a glimpse at a style that's mosaic, seeing the work of Christopher Marley. I had the privilege of discovering Christopher's work on a trip that I thought was just to take the kids to the Science Museum. My reaction was not unique. I was blown away and truly moved, as many experienced through touring this exhibition called Exquisite Creatures. So my emotional journey of going from a repulsion to discovery to being truly enamored were just what the artist's journey had been also, and what he was going for. You see, Christopher hasn't always loved all of these creatures, and he doesn't expect his viewers to come with that love either. And yet he manages to muster that evolution, transformation that he had from fear to admiration of these creatures. As he says in his bio, Christopher Marley's art expresses his passionate engagement with the beautiful forms of nature, beginning with insects and moving on to aquatic life, reptiles, birds, plants, and minerals. And how does he do that? Well, he ethically sources, prepares, and preserves these subjects to arrange them using design principles to make these mosaics. As his bio continues, mosaics that produce strong, positive, emotional responses in viewers. Marley has a brilliant eye for color and pattern in different natural objects, and he expertly captures the deep relationships among them. So mosaic work, at its core, takes pieces of colors or symbols, a lot of objects to create a whole. And that whole is a story, it's a thought, or they could just be arranged aesthetically to be pleasing to the eye in a way that the single object would not be. So when you think of mosaics, you might think of stained glass windows or things that are bits of rock placed together to create a picture. Imagine doing the same with smaller subjects, and that's what he does. So being a color lover, of course, I was attracted to the beautiful colors, particularly of the beetles, probably because it was so unexpected. I loved the butterflies. I kind of think, how can you go wrong with butterflies? But especially the iridescent ones where you could really see a lot more depth. And the compositions weren't always in a kaleidoscope mandala kind of arrangement, but they often had this story to tell. I think of the snakes or the sea creatures that kind of went from light to dark in kind of an ombre gradient form, or they dissipated into a corner. These mosaics aren't just done in one way, and the collection of these, let alone the collection of all of these pieces that were massive and even brought you in by inviting you to use a magnifying glass or to turn on a light, helped you to really bring yourself into this space and notice the little details of these creatures that they often don't stand, still enough for us to enjoy. I thought that the work was beautiful, and it's really something that I encourage you guys to see in person. But as I considered how I can incorporate this into my work, I started to think about colorways and the forms, how each form created a puzzle piece that could then be arranged in a different way or together symmetrically. Regardless of what that little piece was, it created a whole other object, a whole other idea once it was finished and compiled together. So if you want to create your own art that incorporates a mosaic style, we're doing that in Watercolor Bold. Let me walk you through a painting tutorial that can help you to develop or dabble in this style. You can try it out for 7 days free and discover your own style along with us.